Well, welcome along, everybody, to another game of the week here at Super League Raw. It's the big one. It's tonight. It's 8 o'clock at the DW Stadium. The best of the Northern Hemisphere, Wigan Warriors, taking on the best of the Southern Hemisphere, the Penrith Panthers. Sold out DW Stadium. The only way to watch this now is on Sky Sports and the BBC. Those who are going to be inside the stadium, well, you guys are in for an absolute treat, aren't you? We're going to build up to the big game itself for the next half hour or so. Do stay with us. And of course, there's only one place to start. Let's get some thoughts and opinion from inside both camps.
As usual, it's another game for us, and in many ways our processes remain the same. The way we look at our opposition, the way we practice on the field. But there has been things in pre-season what have happened because of this game. We've played some of our players more minutes in the pre-season fixtures, in the friendlies, particularly our forward pack. With this game in mind, we do feel an edge we could possibly gain was being a little more battle hardened. So some of our training has been particularly physical, and as I mentioned, playing those lads in them 2 pre-season games and then at the weekend against Castle, we're hoping he's going to have us at our best come the weekend. So we have to look to get as close as we can to our good rugby and what we believe we look like when we're at our best, both in attack and defence. And that's our best way to put pressure on Penrith, not to change too much, not to adapt too much for Penrith, but more to seek our best form. And that's the ultimate compliment we can pay. That St Helens did really well, and to be honest, are the fundamentals of the game, and they're the things that St Helens have been excellent at for a few years. I don't think they adapted their game too much. I think they were just willing to go toe-to-toe with Penrith to push themselves, and maintain their standards in a more intense setting. And I think that's what it's about, more so than trying to find a new way, a new game plan to try and win this game. I think it's about being at your best, being at your most intense, not giving in when it gets difficult. And that's what St Helens did, and that's what we'll have to do come this week, because doing those things is something that Penrith pride themselves on. They're an intense team. They don't go away, they stay in the battle, and that's why they win consistently.
I think the game over there is, the Super League is always downplayed a little bit, but that's just due to the lack of media attention that we get. But I think the Aussie lads and lads who play the NRL come over here, respect the game, recognise how hard it is. I think a lot of the coaches do. Obviously, we've had a lot of English lads go over there and do pretty well. So, it's not, we are representing, Wigan, but I guess we are representing the game as well in the UK, and I guess it'll be more like a test match, really. It's kind of like knockout rugby league. So I wouldn't say that we win this, we're set for the grand final or the Challenge Cup final. This is a one-off game. Something we'll attack and we'll reassess, and the season is what the season is after that.
Well, best of luck at the weekend.
It is a bit different, obviously, at the start of the year as well. Sort of no trial games lead into it, but it's such a big game and it's our first game. So just trying to get that right. There are a few different rules and different conditions, just different environment. But I think that adds to the whole challenge and opportunity of it. And it's something we're really looking forward to.
How much kind of homework, awareness of your opposition do you have going into Saturday?
Yeah, a fair bit. I think it'll sort of build as the week goes on, and we'll learn more and watch more video. But there's a fair few boys in the team that keep an eye on the Super League as it is anyway. So sort of know who's doing well, and was watching Wigan a fair bit last year, and they got a lot of X factor and a lot of strikes. So it's going to have to be on our game for sure.
And when you think about the last few years, obviously the pandemic and a reduced, disrupted international calendar over the last 3, 4, 5 years, does that make opportunities like this to come over and play, essentially international footy, ones that you think you'll look back on in your career with fond memories?
Absolutely. I think you can sort of make the best memories, I guess, when you're travelling as a team and doing something that you don't do that often. I think us as a squad, sort of over the last 3 years, haven't even travelled overseas to New Zealand or anything like that. So now to come over on the other side of the world and be presented with this opportunity, it's really cool. And you want to be able to win it though, to look back on it with fond memories. So that's our main goal.
What's the feeling like amongst you and your teammates ahead of this?
It's really exciting. I think it's a first time for a lot of us being in the country here. So really just enjoying it for what it is and exploring the city. First training session today, good little hit out, good to get the body moving again, and just looking forward to the week ahead.
And obviously, week in, week out, you're playing in NRL. But is these experiences the kind of things that you really look forward to in your career?
Yeah, 100%. We obviously had the chance to win this game last year and we didn't. So to do it again this year and get a second chance and just prove to the NRL and the Super League that hopefully we're the better team this weekend.
And obviously different opposition last year, but does what happened over at your place in the World Club Challenge last year, is that kind of extra motivation for what's coming this time around?
Yeah, it is for me anyway. I'm pretty upset with the result last year, so it'll be good to get out there and give it a second go this weekend. And I don't know about the rest of the boys, but it adds a little bit of fuel to the fire for me.
How much homework have you done on Wigan?
I've done a little bit of homework on them. I'll probably do some a little bit more tonight and sort of leading into the week. They're obviously an unreal team. They won it last year, and just some really good players, and it'd be good to verse them and test ourselves with them.
And a lot of the boys that come over from the NRL to play in Super League kind of tend to suggest there's a little bit of a different style of footy, tactically a little bit different. Are you as a group kind of aware of that, especially after last year?
Yeah, very aware of the tactics, obviously the conditions, the crowd. A little bit of a different sort of rule set being international footy. So we're all aware of that. We've all been addressed with that, and just go out there and play our best game and win.
So as you can see, the Penrith Panthers taking nothing for granted this year. They were bruised after that loss to St Helens in 2023. The Wigan Warriors may actually be the ones who suffer the most as a consequence of Saints winning the World Club Championship last year. Nathan Cleary there talking about international rules. Have we ever been more happy to see international rules after what's been going on in Super League in the opening 2 rounds? More on that in the sheds later in the day, the Warrington Hull FC one. But let's stay focused on this World Club Championship. Nathan Cleary there as well came out in the media saying he was delighted to be in the UK because he can walk around like a normal human being. Of course, he's a superstar in Australia, and rightly so. And there's no doubt this is going to be a real high-octane game of rugby league. We're really looking forward to Penrith taking on the Wigan Warriors this evening. And we spoke about it at length during our Super League Raw weekly programme. This is what the boys had to say about the World Club Challenge. Game of the week is back. That will be on at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. So game of the week, the Super League Raw Game of the Week preview show, that will be available for you at 6 o'clock on Saturday night, 2 hours before kickoff, an hour before the Sky production. So make sure that you catch that, and we'll do a full analysis of the World Club Championship. But whilst we're at it, while we're here right now, we're going to have a chat, the four of us, on what should hopefully be a brilliant advertisement for the game of rugby league. It's a real shame for me this isn't in Vegas. I would say that right off the cuff. I think it'd be fantastic if the World Club Challenge had been a part of that. Maybe that's something that we need to look at going forward. And actually we'll put both sides on an even keel. There's no home field advantage then. It'd be fantastic if that was the case. But yes, Greg, because I upset my old mate, so I'm going to come to you first, darling. So over to my mate, Greg. Greg, come on, sum this up. Why should people tune in? Rugby league purists are watching us, but come on, let's sell this one. Against the Warriors.
This is Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. We have been termed the poor relations of rugby league compared to the Aussies.
Yeah,
it's time for us to it's time for us to turn the tables. Last year we went down there. The Panthers fielded reserve team. They didn't accept it gracefully. As Dawn says, we need it to snow. I remember being at the grand final where it snowed. I think it was the Broncos and Saints or Leeds. I can't remember who it was. Or it might have been Wigan, actually, at Reebok. The Aussie players spent 20 minutes looking up at the snow. But, this is a magnificent showcase for the game. And you know what? I agree with Connor. I think Wigan will win this with a drop goal from Harry Smith. I think it's written in the stars.
What a narrative that'd be, wouldn't it?
I think this is written in the stars. I think this is a Harry Smith drop goal.
You couldn't write it, could you? It's just a plotted thicken, wouldn't it? It'd be amazing.
It would. And I think, the thing with the Harry Smith thing, I think it's a lot of people who are shouting for Wigan Warriors this week when the Harry Smith thing came through. I think they might have changed their allegiance to Penrith, but we can't do that.
No.
We can't do that.
No,
You know, I'm a Wire fan. It burns my very soul to shout for Wigan, but I think we have to shout for the English Rugby League team this
100%.
weekend.
Yeah.
We have to, and I'm sorry if that upsets people, but you know, I'll go to church on Sunday, and I shall repent.
Yeah. Well, Dawn has already said that she's going to do a field invasion, so we'll keep an eye out for that. And what I would say as well, before coming to yourself, we'll do the predictions in a bit, Greg. But
all right, oh thanks.
We'll do that in a bit. But in terms of this game, you know, for those who are lucky enough to be in the stadium, you know, they're going to have the opportunity. I remember watching the great Mal Meninga. I can always say I watched the great Mal Meninga. Nathan Cleary is on a glide path to greatness for me, and I think that, you know, for those who are going to be in attendance, enjoy watching Nathan Cleary, regardless of the score, because the guy. I mean, what he did in the grand final, that last 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the grand final last year against.
All right, Dave. All right.
Sorry, mate. I know you're a Broncos fan, but let's be honest. You know, he has been given plaudits year in, year out. That was the moment for me where the conversation stopped, in the fact that last 20 minutes, he proved beyond doubt that he is in the top echelons of this game, without doubt, and can only get better. He's still only young. Do enjoy watching that. Joel, you'll be looking forward to watching Nathan Cleary.
Can I just jump in there? I was laughing there because I've been accused of being a pie man.
Have you? Oh, is that Cartledge? Sorry, yeah. I'll tell you what, hey, Steve Cartledge, a proud member of Super League Raw. Thanks, Steve, for your support on that. Yeah, first comment of the night by a member there, Steve Cartledge. Good to have you, Steve. Well done, mate. Keep them coming. Reece Walsh as well will take over. We'll overtake him in time, Greg. Yeah, you're right. Reece Walsh is another player that's going to be a great player, Don. Joel, over to you, mate. What do you make of this one? Big it up.
Yeah, so this could be turned out to be quite the story. So as another NRL watcher, it's been a pleasure to watch Cleary play. He is unbelievable. For those who don't watch him week in, week out, he is one of the greats. He really is, and he's going to be one of the greats, should we say. So you look at it this way. Saints beat them last year on their turf. Okay, they didn't take it serious. But this time they are. They're coming here to England on our turf, and they mean business. Now, what happens if Wigan beat them? That means that they've been beaten twice by two different English teams. Is the NRL still the better league?
Well, all I would say to that, Joel, it's Aretha Franklin, my friend. If that happens, it's time for some respect, isn't it? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. If that happens, respect. And I don't call, and I'm not on about the Erasure version. Aretha, the Queen of Soul. That's what I'm talking about. Greg and me love a tune.
Oh, and she won't be duetting with George Michael on that one either.
Impossible, sir. Then again, actually, Choirs of Angels, mate. That wouldn't be bad to be serenaded, George Michael and our Aretha. But there you go. Steph, come on, you big it up, Steph. You go for it. Penrith Panthers, Wigan Warriors. How big a game is this?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. I think I've already said on other shows, you know, to get a 24,000 sellout at the DW, that atmosphere is going to be, you know, unbelievable. I can't wait to watch it. I'm gutted it has sold out because I'd have probably gone to it.
Me too.
You know, if there was still available now, I'd have probably gone. I think, regardless of the result, you're going to get to see someone who I think is going to be an immortal in Cleary. You know, I think he's right up there with the greats of Australia. You know, he's not quite Andrew Johns yet, but he's getting up there, I think, in terms of how good that player is and how important he is, not only to Penrith, but to the Australian national side as well. And I think it's going to be a real privilege for people to see him play at the DW. So I hope I hope the event lives up to it, and I'm sure it will. I'm sure Wigan will be going out. You know, I think it could be on Origin intensity, especially for the first 40 minutes.
Marvellous.
You know, and I think if there's any team in Super League at the moment to have that intensity and to be able to play with Origin intensity, I think Wigan are the team that I would put forward from Super League to do that.
I think the really interesting point there, Steph, don't forget Jai Field, Bevan French weren't fancied in Australia. This is an opportunity for them on the biggest stage to, you know, write some checks in Australia. That's what it's all about. Craig Rigby, proud Super League Raw member. You may have noticed tonight, guys, we as part of the membership, we will be prioritising members. We have to do that. We have to thank them for their support. Craig has, been a massive support of us. So Craig is getting a few, Don, Steve, etc. We've got to make sure that these guys get the time on air because they're really supporting us, and without their support, this show can't continue. So I make no apology for that. But here's one for you, and I put this on the screen for a reason as well. Great point, Craig. Can Liam Marshall do the treble? Winning try, 2022 Challenge Cup final. Winning try, 2023 Grand Final. Winning try in the World Club Championship. What a story that would be if Craig is right. Liam Marshall, the treble. Wow. What a moment that would be for Liam Marshall. Look, guys, we don't have to big this game up. Greg said it. Southern, Northern Hemisphere. Forget your colours. This is England versus Australia. We want the World Club Challenge to stay in this country. To quote what we were saying with Joel, we want Aretha Franklin. We want respect. That's what we want. Yeah, and I'll tell you now, if Wigan win it, we may even give you a karaoke version right here next week. Oh, yeah. You worry about that. Greg's not going to be on the show.
In the sheds on that one. Can't wait for in the sheds for this one.
Just a little thought on that.
You're on with that one, Dave.
Say Wigan win.
Yeah.
Is there a potential of players like Cleary coming to Super League?
No.
Well, hey. But you think but think of it this way: if IMG end up saying get rid of the salary cap, and there's the people with the big money who can put in for him, money sways everything.
Well, it does, but I don't see it, mate. And what I mean,
not yet, anyway. Not yet.
Not yet. In his career, mate. No, I think actually it's the opposite. I think if Wigan, because we already know that Jack Wellesby's been caught, and I know he's signed his contract, but Wellesby will end up in NRL at some point. He has to. I'd be amazed if he didn't. And it's the same here with Wigan. And, the likes of French, the likes of Field, if home came knocking for him, that's a concern for Wigan. I know Don won't like me for that, but I think the other way around. I think if Wigan win this like Saints before them, I think that, some of their key players will be courted. But as we've seen with Saints, as we've seen with Leeds, it's then down to Wigan to offer the marquee money to homegrown talent to these players to keep them in Super League. That's what it's all about. So, it's one of those, isn't it? It really, really is. Ian, if you go over to Patreon, if you put in there Super League Raw, you'll see all the membership. But there's an advert coming at the end of the show. Stick around. All will become apparent. Right, we're going to go round the screen, and then we're going to bring tonight's show to an end. What a brilliant show it's been. We hope you like the new format. A little bit more, a little bit more talking, less of the highlights. We don't need the highlights. And of course, we've got the Final Whistle podcast that deals a lot now with the action from the weekend. So you've got two, it's almost a 7-day a week that we're giving you guys. We're giving you 7 days a week, and from as little as £2.99, £20 a season, you can support us at Super League Raw. I know times are hard out there, but I think this is good value. Really, really.
Definitely.
The last thing I want to do is to dilute these shows. I don't want to do that. We've built it up to where it is now. You've been brilliant supporters to us. Please, please, please support us. Right. On the screen, going to start with my old mate Greg because he's upset with me. Greg, against Wigan.
I'm talking to you now.
I know you're not. I know. I'll buy you a pint on Friday, love. Right, come on. Where are you going? Wigan, Penrith. Where's your money on?
Right, okay. First question, Carsten. Where do you live? Let us know where you'd fly in from.
Yeah.
Second point to Steph. We'd all love tickets, but if Penrith are winning at half time, we can get in 10 minutes gone in the second half because sorry, Dawn, don't hold it against me. I am going Wigan.
Yeah.
By 8 points, but I think the fairy tale will be written. I think it will be a Harry Smith drop goal that wins it.
I love the Marshall narrative. I do. I love that. That's popped into me.
No, the Harry Smith.
Discussing it. It's popped into my head. As soon as that came up from Craig, I'm thinking, the treble. Is the treble on for Liam Marshall? Oh, what a story. And this is what I mean. You've got to be a rugby fanatic to be able to just, it's the treble. The treble's on for Liam Marshall. Joel, over to you, mate. Where are you going with this one?
There's going to be an early drop goal after Wigan scores the first try, just to put a bit more pressure on. And I think they're going to end up winning by 4, Wigan, because they're going to go for another drop goal at the end.
With Harry Smith.
Harry Smith?
Yeah.
You want the Smith narrative?
2 drop goals.
Oof. Right, Steph, I know it's as stingy for you as it is for me and Greg. Where are you going with this one, mate? He lives in Switzerland, Carsten. We're international boys. It's wonderful. Great to have you here, my friend. Great to have you here.
Listen, Carsten, if you can get over to Warrington
in April,
we'll have a beer with you.
100%. And I think actually we play Lee in April. So Steph will be with us in April. So that's going to be a belter. Warrington Lee, I think it's the 20th of April, if memory serves me right. And I've plucked that out of thin air as well. But if that's right, yes, Carsten, come and join us on the 20th of April. Steph, back to you. Penrith Wigan, Steph, where you going?
Oh, you've thrown me off there with a pint in April. You know, I'm like having a beer. Right.
That's serious.
Yeah.
That's his thinking face.
I've got to be very careful here. I don't care. I would love Wigan to win. I would love them to win. I think just for our competition, you know, I'm a fan of our sport, and I'd love them to win. However, I think because of what happened with Penrith last time in Australia, I think they were embarrassed by that, and I think they'll be coming over here all guns blazing to say this is what we're made of. So I hope we can win. I think Penrith will win 9-17.
Okay.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. The fans forum have gone Penrith 18+, and I hope they're wrong. It's head and heart. I watch a lot of NRL, as you know. Penrith.
You're getting booed by Steph there.
I said I want you to win, Dawn.
Dawn.
I want you to win.
100%. I want Wigan to win. Nothing to give me greater pleasure. But I watch a lot of NRL. Penrith have been a Rolls Royce of a team for the past 3-4 years. They're an incredible side. They really, really are. I hope I'm wrong. But like Steph, my head is ruling my heart. I'm going closer, though. I think Penrith by 1-8. I think Wigan are competitive, and I think Wigan will push them every step of the way. It could go either way. But I do think I just hope it is 1-8 either way. Because if it's 1-8 either way, it'd be great. Go on, mate.
Does it count in the prediction league, this one?
Yes. So this is going to.
See, that's why, Dawn. I've got a prediction.
Listen to you, wooing Dawn. Hey, you'll be buying her a Malibu and Diet Coke next. Great conversation there on Super League Raw Weekly. Catch it every Tuesday, 8 p.m. on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. This were the Game of the Week predictions then. Gary Schofield, he's gone Wigan 1-8. Myself, I'm going the Panthers. It's got 9-17 on there, but it is 1-8. Apologies for that. Greg, he's gone Wigan 9-17. Joel, Wigan 9-17. Steph, 18+. No, this is wrong. This is all wrong. My apologies for this. What is going on, David? Not acceptable. We'll get rid of the graphic. Oh, dearie me. Let's get into exactly what we did say on this one. Good job I've got it to hand, isn't it? Right. Gary Schofield, Wigan 1-8. Greg, Wigan 1-8. Joel, Wigan 1-8. Steph was Panthers 9-17. Myself, Panthers 1-8, and the fans forum 18+ on this one. That's the way we saw it on Super League Raw Weekly. We're coming back in a second, but first, let's take a little word from our sponsor for this show, Rugby League 3/4.
Love that crunch.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
So there you go. If you like a little bit of a bet on rugby league, it's a great community over there at Rugby League 3/4. They talk about accumulators, where the money is at in the market, and really good, friendly page, that one. Get yourselves over there. Support our sponsors, Rugby League 3/4. Right, back to this game. Now, we appreciate some people may not watch much NRL. We have gone for some predicted lineups for this game. We're going to get into a bit more analysis now before the big one tonight. We hope you're enjoying the show. We'll come to Penrith in a moment, but first, the Wigan Warriors. This is how we would expect Wigan to line up for this one. Of course, Field at fullback, on the wings, Marshall and Miskey. In the centres, Kieran and Wardle. French and Smith. Of course, the controversy surrounding Harry Smith. Could he get that drop goal? He will be at number 7. Then we've got Mike Cooper. That might surprise some people. But against the Australians, we might want a little bit of experience early doors in the front row and leave the big artillery of Dupree and Mago on the bench. He has confirmed that Harvey Hill will play in this game. That's why he's got the 4th bench jersey. As you can see there, Cruz Leeming is expected to be fit. We expect Cruz to come off the bench as well. Brad O'Neill to start at hooker. Of course, there is Liam Byrne, Willie Isa. The captain is Liam Farrell, and of course Cade Ellis, who had a really good game at loose forward against the Castleford Tigers last week in round number 1. Now, like I say, many of you may be taking Penrith for granted. You may, if you don't watch the NRL, if you're not aware the 3-peat champions of the NRL, the Penrith Panthers, you may have been lulled here into a false sense of security, and you may be tipping Wigan really, really high. Let's just give you an air of caution on this. Let's now go through who we expect to line up for the Penrith Panthers and their credentials. Starting at number 1, Dylan Edwards. This is an Australian international. This entire team is full of internationals, origin players, you name it. Dylan, an Australian international, 3-time premier now with the Penrith Panthers, 26 appearances last season, 12 tries, 6 assists. On the wing, Sanea Taruva. Now, this guy won the Rookie of the Year in 2023. He had 26 appearances for the Panthers, 12 tries. We would expect international honours to follow very, very shortly for him. In centre, Isaac Tago. Now, this guy is a Panthers junior product. He made his debut all the way back in 2021. He's a Samoan international. Last year, 16 appearances, 10 tries and 9 assists. Now, at number 4, we do expect this will go the way of Tyrone Peachey. It's between him and Taylor May. But Taylor May has only just returned from an ACL that kept him out in 2023. So we think Tyrone Peachey will be the player that they put in the centre. And of course, he's got bags of experience. Peachey, grand final winner, of course, last season. Great player, origin player. We think Tyrone Peachey will be the player that lines up in centre. On the wing, a man who needs no introduction to those who know International Rugby League, Brian Toho. Oh, this guy, what a player, origin player. 23 tries in 2023 for the Penrith Panthers. Absolute quality. Now, we go to the halfbacks and a player that we know well in Super League, Brad Schneider. This is where Schneider ended up. Hull KR fans know Brad really well. Who can forget that drop goal against the Wigan Warriors in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup last year? Could he be the thorn in the side, the Annie Lennox, the Dave Stewart of Rugby League? Well, the Rhythmics fans know what I'm talking about there. Brad Schneider, massive impact for Hull KR last year. He will line up with the outstanding, the incredible Mr. Nathan Cleary. This is a 2-time Clive Churchill Medal winner. He won it in 2021 and in 2023. Nathan Cleary is box office. Enjoy watching him if you are there this evening. In the front row, Moses Leota, another New Zealand and Samoa international, a 3-time premier with the Penrith Panthers. At number 9, Mitchell Pearce, again, another, not Mitchell Pearce, sorry, Mitchell Kenny. Where's Mitchell Pearce come from? Mitchell Kenny, 3-time champion as well. Then at 10, James Fisher-Harris, New Zealand international, 3-time premier with the Penrith Panthers, and last year's Golden Boot winner of 2023. The man who was voted the best player in the world last year, he will be lining up as 10, and he is bruising, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you right now. 11, we heard from him earlier, Luke Garner. He signed from the West Tigers last year, and he was a big part of that championship drive in 2023. Alongside him, we expect to be Liam Martin, Origin and Origin player, Australian international. He's won all 3 championships at the NRL. And then at 13, the captain, Asaya Yo. What a player. Origin, Australian international. He's still only 29 years of age. He's been the lock forward in the Dalians 3 years running, from 2020 all the way through to 22, 20, 21, 22. Missed out last season, did Yo. But let me tell you, that the Penrith Panthers captain is a class act out of number 13. On the bench, we expect it to be Lindsay Smith, the prop forward, only 24, 3-time premier. Sonny Luke, the Tongan international, 2-time premier at the Panthers. Matthew Essenhuff, Australian international, 3-time premier at the Penrith Panthers. And the new signing, Dane Laurie, who has come in from the West Tigers for 2024. We expect him to maybe get a bench place tonight. It's unlikely that he will start at fullback. I think Dylan Edwards may get that. It may be that they put Edwards into the centres, and actually Laurie does start with a bit of pace and injection at the back line. But this is the way we think that Ivan Cleary, the coach of the Penrith Panthers, will be lining up tonight. Like I say, do not take this team for granted. They are quality. I was watching the NRL build-up. If you go over to YouTube, in the same way that Sportsman did a great job earlier, that's where we took our pictures from. That is only parts of the interview as well, ladies and gentlemen. So once you finish watching this today, get over to the Sportsman's website, watch their preview show in full, and then go over to the NRL, just put in NRL World Club Championship, and you'll be able to see what the Australians are saying with regards to this. It's fair to say they don't fancy Wigan at all. Maybe that could be their Achilles heel. Yet again, taking Wigan for granted. I think the Australian press are. It sounds like the Penrith Panthers certainly are not. So let's get into it, a bit more analysis then. I mentioned a few moments ago James Fisher-Harris. These are the battle of the props. This is the four that we've selected for the purposes of this graphic, and that's how close it is. But what we need to do is take into consideration the NRL is a tougher competition. We have to concede that in the Northern Hemisphere. They do have a far better competition than we do. It's a lot closer. It's a lot closer in each game. So, like I say, 387 plays 381. Whilst it's close on paper, we need to give the Penrith Panthers a lot of respect. And James Fisher-Harris, of those 387 metres, he accounts for 130 a game. And that's in the NRL. So one key battle in this game is, can the Wigan Warriors nullify James Fisher-Harris? That is a big question. It's a huge question, and it's one that Wigan are going to have to answer. But James Fisher-Harris, for me, he's the player that the Wigan Warriors really, really do need to keep an eye on. Everybody else in this graphic, average very, very similar meters, between 80 and 100 meters a game. But it's James Fisher-Harris. That's where the real talent lies in this one. Then we go to the battle of the three quarters. And the interesting thing about the three quarters is actually Wigan, in terms of try scoring, have more threat in terms of the centres and the wingers. If you look at who we've selected here for the Penrith Panthers, Peachy last year, 10 tries, Tago, 10 tries, Taruva, 12, and Toho, 23. They do like to go the Toho way. So again, in the same spirit as last season, if you remember before the grand final, we said that, Wigan last year were pretty even on both edges. They do tend to favour the Toho hedge. So in terms of this game, James Fisher-Harris in the prop forwards, if they can nullify his meters and his runs and really contain him, and of course be mindful of the fact that they do prefer the Toho side for strike, that may just give Wigan a little bit of, I'm sure Matty Pete's looked at this already, but for you guys, this is why we do the analysis that we do. This is a real key element of the game. Wigan, like I say, their strike right across the back line. Miskey last season, 27 tries, Marshall 20, Wardle 15, and Kieran 12 when he was at the Catalan Dragons. So like I say, Wigan far more strike across the back line, but again, we've got to put an NRL weighting into this. Yes, they are scoring tries in the NRL. However, they've got more than enough in the back line. And then, of course, it's going to be probably between these two, isn't it? Harry Smith and Nathan Cleary, 26 and 24. Look at the appearances. Yes, Cleary has made more appearances, 158 to Harry Smith's 62. You look at the tries that these have scored. Look at Cleary. Not only does he make tries, but he scores them as well. Who can forget the grand final against the Brisbane Broncos when he virtually carried the entire team on his back to grand final supremacy? That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. 57 tries to 12. Look at the assists, 112 to 22. This is why Nathan Cleary is box office. If you don't watch NRL, if you don't know much about Nathan Cleary, well, these stats tell you this boy is a talent. He's a two-time Clive Churchill medal winner. This guy is class. Enjoy watching him this evening. Drop goals. Both of these have this in the game. Harry Ford, to his name, since his time at Wigan, 15 for Nathan Cleary. But look at the goals percentage. On a night where it could be incredibly tight, Nathan Cleary 84% with the boot compared to Harry's 69%. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference, and that's something that could be massively important in this game. Now, some of you will be saying, Dave, what about Bevan French? What about Field? Exactly. We talked about the prop forwards and the real opportunity here for the Wigan Warriors to do really well if they can contain Fisher-Harris. We talked about the three quarters, that Wigan do have the quality in that back three-quarter line to really trouble the Penrith Panthers on both edges. What we haven't spoke about is Field and French. Now, let's be absolutely honest. These two weren't fancied in Australia. They weren't fancied. We haven't even spoke about them. And that could, for me, be the difference. That's why I've kept them back to the end. If all of these little battles, I think the Cleary one, we have to contain Cleary. We have to be mindful of the Toho edge, and we need to, of course, nullify Fisher-Harris. If those three components can happen, that will create the space. That will create the platform for the likes of French and Field to wreak havoc. And that is what Wigan Warriors need in this game, without question. It really is game on. Field and French for me. If Wigan win this, don't be surprised if one of them take the Man of the Match award in it. It's going to be fantastic. What are the bookies saying? Well, this is what the bookies are saying. The Wigan Warriors to win in 80 minutes, 7-4 compared to 2-5. Yes, Penrith go in as favourites. No surprises there. First try scorer, Abbas Miski, 8-1. Great value. That's great value for first try scorer, 8-1. And Brian Toho, 11-2. A 1-12 point win margin, which let's hope it is. Let's hope it's a really tight game. That means it'll be entertaining. As you can see there, Wigan 13-5, the Panthers 13-8. And then anytime try. Anytime try. Hookers always in and around the ruck, especially close to the line. Always capable. We saw Cruz Looming do it last week in his debut, albeit it wasn't around the ruck. It was a really well-finished try from a kick that went, that was splendid, wasn't it? It was in our tries of the week. Cruz Looming, 8-1. Mitch Kenny, 10-1. Bit of value there as well in terms of the hooking places. So again, something for you to be very, very mindful of. Quite frankly, I don't know which way this is going to go. I know one thing. Penrith Panthers are a quality outfit. Do not, for 1 minute, if you don't watch NRL, if you think that this is going to be another win for the Northern Hemisphere, not a bit of it. They're coming to take the trophy home. They will not be taking Wigan for granted. It's going to be a bruising contest down the middle. I think the edges, there's sparkle all across the field. We could see some breathtaking tries if it's that type of game. It's just set up to be a real great advert for the game. It's international rules, so no stupidity, hopefully, in this one in terms of some of the things we've been seeing in the first two rounds of Super League. It's going to be fantastic. We hope you've enjoyed this latest production of Game of the Week. Enjoy it. Don't go. Make sure tonight, 8 o'clock, you're sat on your sofas, if you're not in the stadium, and watch this game. Wigan, Penrith, it's going to be a belter. Well, let's hope it is anyway. And for now, that's Game of the Week. We'll be back for the Game of the Week show next week for round number 3 of Super League. Good luck, Wigan. We're all behind you, or at least I think we are anyway. Go the Northern Hemisphere. Let's keep the World Club Championship in England. Bye for now, everybody.